Her dog was unaccompanied.
Unaccompanied.
Running loose?
Running loose, came right at us. I mean, no barking. There was no growling, nothing. He just walked up, put my dog's head in his mouth, slammed him to the concrete, and I had one of those extended leashes that you retract, and it wrapped around my hand, and it was a tug of war. I fell in the street and injured my elbow. Then we were fighting for the dog, and I was screaming, yelling. Nobody was coming. It was 6:30 in the morning. And finally, another neighbor that lives on this street came running around, and he grabbed the pit bull from behind and picked it up. And I was able to get the puppy out of the pit bull's mouth. After kicking the pit bull, it was like kicking a sandbag. And if you look, I have photos of my foot.
Yeah, you've submitted into evidence pictures of your injuries.
Yes, and there's another one of my foot as well.
And you've also submitted into evidence this picture of Oscar after the attack.
Correct. And that was after the neighbor was holding the pit bull as hard as he could, and he was screaming at me to run because, you know, the dog tasted blood. So I ran home, I kicked open our front door, and my daughter was sitting on the couch, and my wife was in the kitchen, and I came in with our dog who was deceased. I knew it was deceased, but my daughter, that was 16 years old, thought it was still alive because there was still palpitations going on. So she was trying to get us to revive the dog. Then after that, I went back to the scene, and by the time I got back there, there were people. There was police.
The defendant wasn't there.
The defendant was not there.
So, Ms. Morris, let me talk to you about your defense.
Yes.
You said that they must have been taunting your dog. Tell me about that.
I live on a street where many people walk back and forth with their animals today still. There's a sidewalk across the street from my house, and I constantly have to walk out there and say, can you please walk across the street? First of all, there's nowhere for them to walk. If you look,
so is it your position that simply walking by in front of your unfenced home is taunting your dog?
There's a fence. There's a 5-foot fence all along the front of my property.
But according to your answer, you explain how Houston got out. You said Houston must have used a tree for leverage and jumped over the fence after he was taunted by Jeffrey and his dog. So you weren't present. Was your witness present during the attack? So there's no evidence of taunting?
Correct, because several times in the previous weeks.
How long have you been a dog owner?
My whole life I've had dogs. This particular dog I'd only had for a few weeks. He'd been in training, and then he'd come back to my home.
You're aware of the fact, clearly, that your dog can get over the fence. And you actually explain how the dog got over the fence.
I assume that's how he
Just like you assume there was taunting. The facts on the ground are that the plaintiff was walking his dog, your dog was loose, and your dog attacked him and killed his dog. You say you're not liable?
I'm saying that there's nowhere for them to be walking on my side of the street, and people are continuously walking their animals over to my fence, to my dog. It's happened daily.
What happened after the attack? Animal control showed up, didn't they?
Yes, animal control showed up. The police went to her residence. Then she pulled up in her car and started cussing at all of us. And then the police officer told her that her dog killed my dog. And then she just got quiet. Didn't show any remorse. You know, she was just there.
How did you find out about the attack?
Someone came and knocked on my front door and said, can you please come down? There was an incident that happened with your dog. And so I ran outside.
Go to the scene.
And went to the scene.
And you say people are yelling at you, so you start yelling back. Then you learned that your dog killed his, and things calmed down.
Yes, there was another man who I've never seen before in my life, started screaming at me and pointing his finger in my face, just yelling at me. And so of course I said, don't yell at me. I don't know who you are, and this has nothing to do with you. Because he was talking about it. Also an incident that supposedly had happened previously.